Hey, what's up? Husman here, and it's been a while since I've been back here in the studio to make some cool new videos for you. I've been on tour, I've actually been to Asia, and it was an awesome tour I did in China and Thailand. And I made a video of that last week, so if you want to check out how my travels went, be sure to check out that video. But in this video I wanted to actually give you a 2019 studio tour to show you the gear that I'm using, the gear that I really love to use, the outboard gear, the gear in my computer, which computer I use. And it actually has a really cool reason, because I'm currently in the midst of renovating my house and I have a really big room upstairs where I'm gonna create my new studio, which will be really, I think, even like 3 times the space of where I'm at now, because now I have quite a small space. Back in the days, like a few years ago, it was my bedroom and I turned into a little studio space, but I'm currently working much more on bigger client work and much more on my own music, and I really want to have my own bigger space. So, and also that I have more of a light going in here, because now it's pretty dark always in my studio and it's always a little bit difficult to make some cool video content in this studio. I have to set up all sorts of lighting and stuff. So that's the reason why I want to do a studio tour this week. This video is all about my studio in 2019. Let's start with the most important gear that I have, which is my MacBook Pro from 2015. It's like, it's not the newer model, it's like the last model before the USB-C port with all the dongles and stuff. And it still works great, but I might upgrade next year into when I get my new studio, into the new MacBook version, because now it's still working fine, but I see in the future maybe the need for an upgrade, so I really have some more firepower to work with. I got 16 gigabytes of RAM, which is not quite a lot, but if I don't use too much contact, I can get around that easily. Now the next thing that's really important in the studio are my KRK Rocket RP5 speakers, which are, I think I already have them for, I believe 4 years or 5 years, maybe even longer. And for this room, they do the job. Whenever I'm going into the bigger studio, I'm gonna get some more professional sounding speakers. For a starter producer, they're also pretty cheap, so it will be a great investment to make. They have a pretty clear sound quality, like everything sounds pretty well balanced, but I can imagine like in a bigger studio these are basically also too small, so I want to upgrade for newer ones. If you got some suggestions for speakers for me, let me know in the comments below so I can check them out. Now you might see, like in the back here, I got some acoustic foam, which is basically to treat the room a little bit so it's not too reverby, not too much. I don't know the exact pronunciation of it, but basically the room is not totally dead, but it's quite dead. It's like there's not a lot of echo going on in this room when you hear me like clap. Short amount of reverb, which makes sure that all the frequencies, even like the bass frequencies, the high frequencies, everything is like more honest to your ears. Now the next piece of kit that I have is my Complete Control S61. It's a 61 key keyboard from Native Instruments, which is really great. You can use the software that comes with it as well, which I only use for the chord and arp function. I don't use all the knobs and stuff, basically just for playing, just to play some melodies, play some chords, some harmonies, which is really great for that. And it got some really cool, I've talked about it so much, like the lighting where you can put on certain chords, certain keys will be lit up to show you which key you have to play in a certain scale, which is truly awesome. And yeah, I love the keyboard. I might upgrade next year to the newer version with the screen and stuff, but not sure about that yet. Next up is the Ableton Push 2, which is a great controller for Ableton Live. And it basically does all the things that you would like a controller to do. It's really intuitive, got a really great screen, great pads, and it's like really easy to enhance your workflow in Ableton. Like my workflow in Ableton is already pretty fast, but with the Ableton Push 2, it's even quicker, and it's just an amazing piece of gear. Now the next pieces of gear is actually something that I've acquired in the last few months. And the first one is the Teenage Engineering OPZ, or OPZ, I'm just gonna call it OPZ. And it's a great little synthesizer, which has a lot of cool glitchy kind of sounds. I have to be honest, I don't use it as much as I should. It's really awesome, but I'm still, yeah, it's not that like workflow friendly to my workflow, at least, because I just mainly want to use it as a synthesizer. So I actually made like a decision to utilize it more in my productions, to try to combine it with my modular gear, which you're gonna get to now. And talking about modular gear, it's growing, it's steadily growing. I mean, I don't want to rush and buy a lot of modular stuff for my Euro rack at once. So I'm basically building it up slowly and steadily, and also learning how to work in the modular world, so to say. So as of now, my modular rack is far from being finished. The basic idea for my Euro rack is actually to be like a sound generating Euro rack, so I can create some really cool sounds and effects and some soundscape, which I usually wouldn't necessarily get out of my computer. So I'm not necessarily using it for the EDM kind of sounds, but more to add some different soundscapes to my own music. So I got some mutable instruments, I got some IntelliGel, I got some Strymon elements going on. The Strymon Magneto, for example, is a really great effects processing delay unit, which I really love to use. And then the mutable instrument plats I use as my main VCO to start generating music, which will then go into my stages, which will be like an ADSR. Got some LFOs as well. And I'm aiming for the next one to be the Q-bit scant. It seems like a really cool VCO, which has really a lot of creative possibilities. So that's something I'm looking into to buy next for my modular rig. Now, my latest addition to my studio is actually the gear that I love to play around with the most at the moment. It's the Moog Modular 32. It's an awesome synthesizer which got that warm Moog sound, and it's really great and intuitive to hook up to Ableton Live. You basically put the input into your sound card and your sound card into your computer, and you're good to go. It has a lot of features, like it has a sequencer arpeggio, but I really like to use Ableton's arpeggio, an Ableton sequencer. So I basically just use it as an analog synth to get that really cool Moog sound, which I really like, and it's a really warm and really new kind of sound to my own productions, which I really enjoy. Now, that's almost all the outboard gear that I use in my studio. There's only one thing left, and that's my Focusrite Scarlett 2i2 2-in, 2-out audio interface, which is a really great audio interface. It's pretty cheap. Now, this will probably be the last year that I'm using it, because next year I want like a bigger audio interface with more inputs and outputs, because I want to have a piano and want to record stuff in my studio as well. And it's a bit difficult because now, for instance, I can't hook up my modular rig and my Moog Modular 32 at once, so I have to pull stuff out. And just for now I can deal with it, but like whenever I notice whenever I have to go into too much of a hassle to hook something up, I will most probably don't use it. So that's gonna change next year as well. And then in the computer, I've didn't change a lot since like the previous favorite plugin, which is like one of my first videos. I basically use Ableton Live, and then most of the Ableton stock plugins I really like. I really like what Ableton is doing. I really like the workflow, the effects that they use. Everything is really intuitive. There are actually a few new things that I added to my sound world, so to say, and it's the Phase Plant by Kilohertz, which is a really great plugin to create like really dope kind of sounds. And then I got the Orbis by Spitfire, which is also really great for some really textural, worldly sound, which give that world vibe and bring some more recorded sounds to my electronic soundscape, which I really like. It's like a combination of electronic music and analog music now in my productions, and that's something that I've been like experimenting with that. And I think in the upcoming tracks you will see a lot of little bits and pieces that you haven't heard in my tracks before, which is for me really exciting. So that's basically my studio gear at 2019. Now I will document a little bit the production of the creation of my new studio, which will probably start in a few months. And it's gonna be really exciting really exciting for me at least, to finally get into a bigger studio and really feel like I have my own workplace at home instead of just a small room in my home where I do my productions. I think also for the production quality will only be better, because better speaker system, better environment, more room to work with, and also to have people over, have a presentation for clients, which will really benefit me. Now, before I go, I want to mention one more thing. Next week, I'm gonna help you again with your music. I'm gonna give you feedback to a few guys which can send me the music in the link below. So don't hesitate, send your link below. All the details are in the link. So looking forward to hear what you've made this month. And I'm gonna try to do my best to give you the best possible feedback next week. And that's all for me this week. I'm really happy to be back. It was really great on tour, but I'm also really happy to be in the studio again. If you like what I do, hit that like button. If you haven't already, subscribe. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Take care. Bye bye.